Yo, what is going on everyone? Guiding Light here, and in this one I'm going to show you guys how you can complete the Enigma protocol mission. Now this is going to be a part of the episode 1 here in the final shape, and it's basically going to be a 3-person timed mission where you have to go through a small trial. Now the hardest part about this mission is definitely the fact that you have a very limited amount of time. So once you get in here, you're going to want to do a couple things that's actually going to be able to increase the time for you. Now I do recommend going in here with some high level stuff and be ready to take down a pretty big boss at the end. You're going to want to go in with as much as you can to kill as fast as you can. So once you get in here, try not to waste too much time. But as you can see right away, you're going to see security weaken plus 30 seconds. Now what that is that there's actually these small yellow oracles that you can shoot, and it's going to give you additional time when in here. Now if you want to see how much time you guys have left, you can see it up the top right there. It's called security reboot. Now as you complete small objectives along your way, you will get additional time, like if you completely wipe out all of the enemies in an area, or if you shoot those oracles that I was talking to you about. Now, as you get through different sections, you're going to notice that there's these different cubes and things that'll pop up. If you shoot those in time, you can get time boost, things like that. Now, there's going to be about 4 different phases you have to go through of different boss fights, and I'll walk you guys through what you have to do to get through those fights when we get there. So the first section is not too crazy. You're just going to be running through, clearing out the enemies, and heading through the first portal. Now when you get here, you're going to go to the first phase here. You're going to grab these different relics, we'll call them. They're different solar, arc, and void. And there's also going to be a bunch of enemies that spawn. Now you're going to need to take those oracles to their respective locations on the left and right sides of the map, while 2 other players take out the enemies. Now this is not a bad place if you want to use the super to get some orbs made and just to clear out the enemies quickly. And then as you can see, you're also just going to have to keep an eye on your time. But as you complete some of these objectives, you will get a bit of a boost. And then there are, like I said, those orange and yellow oracles, which I'll point out to you guys when we find them, that are also going to add a little bit of time as well. So even if the time gets low, don't just give up, because there are a lot of things you can do to add time towards the end. So very quickly, we're just going to continue to clear out this. There's going to be a few different waves of enemies that spawn, and then eventually it's going to say circuit needs to be inserted. You can do that on the wall right here behind me. But then as it says security weakened, you're going to be able to get more time as the enemies are cleared out. Now as soon as this clears out, you're going to want to run away into this booster. It's going to take you to the next section. Now there's going to be a few different oracles and things right here in this section you can take out to get you a small boost in time. But mostly you want to be going through as fast as you can. Now, once you get to this dead end, you're going to want to go up. There's going to be a small path you can cross and a bunch more enemies. Now, at this point, you're going to see these boosts start to pop up with different icons. Those icons are going to give you guys your abilities. Sometimes it'll even give you your super, and you're going to want to keep an eye out for those, especially later on in the boss room, as they're going to help you to take on the boss a lot faster, especially if you can find the ones for your super. So make sure that you have a super on that can deal a lot of damage to a boss, because that's going to be your primary focus toward the end. But just continue along this path. Now this is where things get a little interesting, because it's actually going to split off into 3 paths. Now I kind of recommend, if you can help it, to try to go have one member of your fire team go on each path individually. The reason why is that each path is going to have its chance of spawning its own oracle to add time, and there's also going to be some enemies along those paths which you can take out to try to get the security clearance timer added. So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about once we get to it, but just continue to go as fast as you can. Now, if somebody goes down, they can be revived, but they also have about a 5 or 10 second respawn timer. So depending on how close to them you may or may not want to revive them or turn back for them. But either way, you're just going to continue on. At this point, we're almost to the end, but you have to be very careful not to fall. But as you can see, we only have 30 seconds left on the timer. We haven't even gotten to the boss yet. And so even if it gets low, there's still a very good chance you'll be able to finish it out. Now, once you get to this little dead end, you're going to want to cut to the right here. It doesn't look like it, but you actually can go through this path. And then you're going to want to just continue through, and you should get a few time added at this point. Now, at this section, there's going to be some big enemies. You're going to want to try to take them out as fast as you can to try to get through this portal. Now, once you guys do get through the portal, there's also going to be a part where you're going to have to hop on your sparrow as well. But this will take you to the second boss fight. Now for this boss fight, what you're going to have to do is take down these Vex. What the Vex will drop is a small relic. You can use that relic to break the 9 Vex, which are located behind the boss. So each time you get one of those orbs, you just want to toss it at one of the Vex. Now, there's going to be 3 different sections you have to clear out, one in the middle at first, and then you're also going to have to clear out the left and right sections. So if you're not clearing out the middle or throwing the relics, just immediately come over to left to start to clear this out as fast as you can. This can save you guys a bunch of time. There's also a ton of enemies in this area, so you may want to bring something that can take them out quickly, or even just save up your Transcendent for this section of the clear. Now, once you guys do all 9, you're going to be able to go on to the next portion. Now, once you're completely done with this section, you're going to hop through the portal, and then it's going to continue along the jumping puzzle. Now, there's going to be one of the oracles right there to shoot to add time, and a few more along the way. So as soon as you see them, you're going to want to shoot those to get the additional 30 seconds. Now, there's also a few hidden enemies. You can try to take those guys out as well. And then as you reach different checkpoints and clear out enemies, you are going to get the security clearance timer added on. So now you're going to hop onto your Sparrow. Now, anytime that there's a split in the path, you're going to want to try to split up from your fire team members, because this is going to help you guys to get additional time and not miss any of the relics. So as you can see here, there's actually 2 different paths you can take, one down below and one to the right. And if you come over here to the right, there's actually one of those oracles you can shoot, and it's going to give you an extra 30 seconds there. Now, you can hop off your Sparrow if you want to, or if you need to, but either way, you're going to want to try to continue along this path as fast as you can and get to the checkpoint. Now, at this point, there's going to be a chest that spawns. You're going to get a bit of loot. You don't have to worry about being too fast at this point, because it does say that the timer is paused at this point. It'll pop up saying reboot paused, and you guys can actually take your time to either change gear or loot up. Now, make sure you rally this banner, because you're going to need all your super energy and all that ammo for the next part. And there's also a small relic in the corner where you can scan for a ghost in this room, and that's part of one of the triumphs. So be sure to scan that. You're going to see the icon for the ghost all the way in the corner, so try to scan that if you can. And once you guys go through the portal to the next section, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. You're just going to want to try to run through as fast as you can while clearing out all of the enemies. Now, there's also going to be a few oracles you can shoot for extra time here. There's one in the back all the way on the left, and that's going to give you an extra 30 seconds if you break that yellow light back there. Now, as you continue on, you're going to get to the 3rd section. Now, for this boss, what you actually have to do is break as many of the purple lanterns as you can, as fast as you can. Now, you'll notice here it says break Vex encryption pods. You have to break 20 of them. It's talking about these purple lights here. As soon as you break them, there's going to be something that drops out, basically like a mote. You're going to want to pick that up. That's how you're going to gain progress. Now, you're going to have to find all 20 of them. They're kind of scattered all over the place in the room, while also taking out the enemies. Now, you can climb up on top of this. There's going to be some up here, and it may be easier to shoot them. But the best way to find them is just to look for anything that's glowing purple. If you see one of the walls glowing purple, you know that there's a good chance there's one of the lanterns back there. So break as many as you can. Try to stay alive, just to not waste time. Like, you can always revive and stuff like that, but anytime that you're down, you're not going to be able to deal damage, and you're not going to be able to take out the lanterns. So you want to do your best not to go down, and just break up all the lanterns to move on to the next section. Now, after this, it's going to be back to a small running or jumping puzzle. There's going to be a small yellow lantern right when you get out of this pod, so make sure to break that for the 30-second boost as you move along the path. Now, this is part where you want to try to be as fast as you can, because you're not going to have too much time to kill the next boss. If you don't, the next boss actually does have a pretty decent amount of health. So if you don't get there with at least, about a minute on the clock or so, it may be tougher to kill him unless you guys have all your supers. So just try to make your way through this part as fast as you can, and then when we get to the boss, I'll show you guys how you can take him out. So once you get to the boss, be on the lookout for this another yellow oracle. You're going to find that right here as you teleport through. That's going to give you 30 seconds when you get in here. Now the boss does look like it has a bunch of health with 6 different sections of health, but you can actually take it down very, very fast. So at this point, if you guys have any boss clearing items like your snipers on or your linear fusions, you're going to want to try to use it as fast as you can. And then also, he's really, really weak to super energy and things like that. So if you save up your super for this part, you should be able to take down his health pretty quickly. And once you do take down this boss, there's actually going to be a little bit more that you have to do, but it's mostly just jumping puzzles, not too much of a boss fight or anything like that. Now, you still will have to worry about the timer, and after this boss, it can get a little bit confusing on which way to go, so I'm going to explain to you exactly what you need to do. So once you get out of here, you're going to notice there's 2 different paths you can take, one on the sparrow path, and then one back on this little light path. Now, there's an enemy you can kill here to try to get some extra time, but once you kill that enemy, you do want to try to hop off this light path and hop back on the sparrow path. Now, if you take this light path, you can still get to the end, but it takes a lot longer. And as you can see, we only had a minute left. So if it wasn't for our teammate taking the other way, we probably would have had to start all over. That's the worst part about this, is that if you fail, you actually do have to start all the way over from the beginning. There's no way to get a checkpoint or anything like that. So you want to try to take the sparrow path, as it is a lot faster. As you can see, if you take this path, it's just going to lead you back to this portion, and then it's going to spit you back out onto the sparrow path anyways. As you can see, it'll just throw you out here, and you'll just be completely stuck. I don't know why it's like that, but make sure you take the sparrow path to make sure that you can complete the mission. Otherwise, you're going to have to take the path I took, and I only had about 30 seconds left on the clock when I got to this point, so I'm not even sure if I would have made it. So once you get done with that boss, hop straight on the sparrow path, and that should take you straight to the end of the mission. Now, hopefully this helps you guys out, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.